All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Hurley Investments Market View commentary for the 1st of November, 2021. Just as a heads up, next week we're going to be canceling our trade findings and adjustments on Thursday the 11th. We will not have a trade findings and adjustments next week, and we'll probably actually only have a commentary. Better check my days so I figure out when Thanksgiving is. Yeah, and then on Thanksgiving week, we will only have the Monday commentary. All right, I like where Keith was going, and I want to go over leadership. And it's funny because I picked up well, I got a couple different things, but my question to you guys is, and it's funny because this leadership is going to go along with everyone wants to be a leader until they have to do leader, and I really want to call it what it is, the SH word, right? Until they have to do leader work would be the easiest way to say it. And when it's time to get your, I guess, sleeves rolled up and get down to the nitty gritty and do the work, nobody wants to do it. And the problem is that in my industry, there are a lot of people using big words, acting like they've done the work, which is just pathetic. It bothers me. It frustrates me. It makes me think less highly of people that I stay in touch with. It makes me think that some people lack the integrity to be licensed, bonded, or insured. So if I was going to ask you, especially when it comes to leadership, how would you define leadership in regards to the stock market? Because there are a couple different ways, and I knew William would say that. William actually said something, and I've got Bill, but William said leadership is the stocks that are up. And that is correct when it comes to the talking heads. That is exactly correct. But how else would you define leadership? I fired some of those leaders from Bill Brandner. I love it, right? I know David W. would say this one. Most leaders are lying bleepity bleep bleeps. I'm just going to keep it at that, but there are 3 words there. Bleepity bleep bleeps. I'd agree with you. What else, though? Mary, willing to put in the hours. Okay. What else? How else would you guys define leadership? Dave W. again. Hard workers. That's interesting that you'd say that for leaders. I like it. A good leader, right? Poop or get off the pot. I agree with all of these. It's interesting because in this year, the expected leadership was supposed to be tech, energy, and healthcare, with the possibility of banks, right? Financials. We got another leader, 2 other leadership comments. Leader in the good sense is something that affects positively. So we have another one. Someone who affects you positively. Can't say the word right. Positively. A leader can admit when they are wrong. Leaders convince others to follow them. Wow, you guys are really coming in. Walk the walk and talk the talk. What do others want to do? There's another one. Not afraid to get out front. And that's interesting because, in all honesty, when you get out front, that's typically when you have the biggest opportunity to get hurt. But I like that one right there. That's also kind of a military one for me. They're willing to get out front. They're willing, in my opinion, to say, so I guess the big answer for me, leadership is standing behind what you say and do, whether it's right or not. Because obviously I can't be right 100% of the time, right? Not talk the talk. If you're gonna talk the talk, you better walk the walk, right? So all right, it was interesting because this year, if you asked us, we were not sole manager healthcare. Hurley Investments thought leadership would come from financials, technology, and what was our third one? Oh, and automotive. That was what we were banking on based on our numbers. Banks have come through nicely. We had Bank of America, JP Morgan. We've done really good. Technology, man, we're in the tank. Apple sucks, Baidu sucks, Square hasn't moved yet, Alibaba hasn't moved. We're really in there, and automotive is just starting to go. Just starting to move. I mentioned it last week. All of our research tells us we should continue in the current positions we are in. They just haven't moved yet. So because they just haven't moved yet. With that said, it was kind of interesting because we did a couple things today that I found rather interesting, right? Let me find it for you. All right, what did we do today? We're thinking about taking off some Apple protective puts. We did take off protective puts on Baidu. Took them off for a profit. We're trying to let Baidu run, and we're trying to let Baidu run up to its previous highs of 180. It's actually 182. Come on. Apply to. $182.60. And all we're doing is just playing the bounce off of the 50-day, seeing if we can get back up to its highs. We would not expect Baidu to get above 202 by the end of the year. But if it did get above 202, 209 would be the highs that we're looking for. That's where we'd be sitting and going, okay, at 202, we need to think about, 209, we need to think about adding protection back on and being ready to go. All right. Let's see here. We did another one. We took off protection on Ford. And we took off protection with Ford not quite giving us what we want. But if you're looking at Ford, and this is to help educate you guys, there's something that stands out on Ford right now that's a big no-no to taking protection off. What is it? What is standing out on Ford that you'd be like, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not the best time to have that protection come off yet. Anyone see it? There you go. Perfect. We are overbought. But we were overbought for like 3 weeks. So we can see that Ford can stay overbought for a while. Ford can stay overbought from 1430 up to 1645. Ford can be overbought from 1429 to 1670. We're looking for $2.50 of potential movement. 1950 is where we're going to try to put protection back on if Ford can get up there. The interesting point about Ford, look how the trend lines have changed, and we now have a support level sitting at 1655. In all honesty, 1950, 2150, 2250 are the next levels for Ford on the way up. Best part about it, Ford's going to institute their dividend again. They were paying 7%, but it would not surprise me to see a 3.5% dividend come out for Ford. One of the neatest things, Apple. Building a base. Building a base, multiple trend lines. Apple had great earnings, but you know what? No one wanted to get out of Apple. Since no one wanted to get out of Apple, probably time for us to take our protection off. We did not choose to do it today because we have a red doji, which just means it looks like a cross. Kind of hard to see since we're got a bigger chart here. Let me move this out to like 2 months. But when you see the cross, one that looks like that. Uptrend, it changes. See it like that. We've had a bit of an uptrend, probably changes. We decided to keep our protection on because of the technical indicator we got from Apple today. Almost took it off, but technically it told us not to. So where am I going at with all this? Where I'm going at is we still have a bunch of the year to go. We can make the year with Apple, Baidu, Disney, or Under Armour taking off, and all of them are Christmas rally stocks. Is it going to happen? I don't know. We might get our rally the first quarter next year. I don't know. What I do know, stimulus bill is coming this week, supposedly. So, anyone know why it would be important for the stimulus bill to come through today, tomorrow, this week? Any idea why we heard all about the Democrats pushing this through and have to get it done this week? Any ideas? I think I've got an idea. In fact, I can even tell you, I think it's going to come Wednesday. Wednesday, I think the stimulus bill is coming out. No one there? Spending for Christmas? Could be. We really don't know for sure, right? But I would think if we could sign it, it's going to come out Wednesday because the Fed has to start tapering the mortgage-backed bonds they've been buying. No two ways about it. The Fed has to start tapering sooner than later. We already have inflation. It's not transitory. It keeps going up. We've got bottlenecks in our shipping. We're going to have less Christmas. I mean, people had money, but I think a lot of people already spent their checks from the government. Stimulus bill, in my opinion, would have to come out this week so that they can fight the negative reaction to a Fed tapering on Wednesday. It'll be very interesting. We'll be set to our TVs Wednesday at 12 noon, 12:15 my time, Mountain Standard Time. We'll find out what they do. Last thing I'm going to say. Because I have over 25 years in the market, I am not planning on changing the methodology over this year. At least I've done this enough to understand what happens and why. I found it interesting. We had a pretty darn good October. Usually does not happen that way. Usually October is not a great month. But October started up, ran up, down, and then took off. Pretty amazing October on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. $34 to $35. On the S&P, even better. Same looking chart. 4,300 up to 4,600. Amazing. Octobers are not made as they used to be. Not as bad as they used to be. Could be. This might be the once in a decade year where we just have 28% run up or higher. And the NASDAQ, the same thing. This is the start of our Christmas rally. We have it. We're running. The Christmas rally is off to the races and running. If you ask me where we're going to end November, I'm going to say up 2.5%. And I think we could be higher. I think we could be higher, but I'm going to say 2.5% because I don't know where the markets are going to go. Earnings, Clorox, Mosaic, Rig, AMC, Tuesday, British Petroleum, ConocoPhillips, CMI, DuPont, L Brands, Pfizer. Pfizer's now going to give the drugs to the younger people. Akamai, Amazon, Denny's, I like Denny's. Zillow, Under Armour, which we'll be paying attention to, and T-Mobile will be paying attention to. Wednesday, Marriott, CF Company, EA Sports, HubSpot, MGM Grand, Nu Skin, Qualcomm and Roku are two we're going to definitely pay attention to, and CVS. Thursday, Barrick Gold, Cigna, Healthcare, Duke Energy, Kellogg's, Murphy Oil, Domino's Pizza, Airbnb would be interesting to find out, Uber, Alibaba. We'll pay attention to Baba, First Solar, and Square. Friday, DraftKings is the one kind of just me there. Economic report wise, ISM manufacturing expected to be 60.5, came in at 60.8, a little bit better. Consumer spending supposed to be up 0.5%. It was down 0.5%. Complete opposite. ADP employment numbers on Wednesday with the FOMC rate meeting. Nothing on Tuesday, so I would expect we're going to keep running into Tuesday in our bullishness. Thursday, initial continuing claims. Friday is our average work week reports that come out. Non-farm payroll will be a big one. For a while, I've had the international numbers, but I'm going to take these out. The international numbers are no longer, well, let's face it, the U.S. is no longer being held to those international numbers. I typically look at my international numbers on fxstreet.com economic calendars. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to look at it, but what it means is I'm not going to spend so much time on it. Sunday, I did pay attention to the Chinese non-manufacturing or the services PMI numbers. Better, I guess they were in line, better than it can be expected. One shows expansion, one shows contraction. But really, I will still pay attention to these. I just won't spend all my time with them. And again, it seems like the U.S. is running things not so much as COVID or some of the international problems we had in the past. For example, this is on Thursday. All these that are in red are important, but Bank of England, excuse me, is not as important as Bank of America right now. It won't move our markets. So I am still looking. I'm just not paying as much attention to these type of numbers because they're not as important as they were earlier in the year. Trading coming up. Long put protection has been added, guaranteeing for earnings. We still have a couple more earnings, and we're adjusting accordingly. Under Armour this week, Disney next week. We have Square on Thursday, which I should probably put in there. There it is on the 4th. We have it in there already. Target on the 17th and Baidu on the 16th. So we've got a couple earnings this week, a couple earnings next week. Baidu is going to be a big one for us the 3rd week here of November. I've got some interesting articles that I think you're going to like. Apple chip shortage will end, but U.S.-China supply chain train wreck is coming. A very interesting article. I'm not sure if it's as bad as it seems, but I did point in here because it could be a what if. It could be a what if. I really like where Apple would be placed in this what if scenario. Please go through and read this because it's going to be interesting for you to pay attention to what your stocks are doing. Secretary Yellen says spending bills will be anti-inflationary, lowering important costs. I call bull crap, and I know I'm saying that against a Fed chair, but what this title should say, spending bills will be anti-inflationary until you have to pay for it down the road. So yes, as you flood the system with more money, it will lower costs for a while because everyone get out and buy it, and then they're going to raise costs because supply and demand is reactionary. So yes, this will be anti-inflationary at the start, or it should be, because we're kicking the inflation can down the road, and we will pay for it down the road. I guarantee it. Debt cancellation, retuition proposals. Boy, I really want to tell my kids, man, go take a crap ton of loans out for school because they're going to get paid by the government anyway. Very interesting article. Do read through this one. This could be the worst market for a first-time home buyer. Interesting article here on where the home prices have got to come down. And Congress has a new plan to fix Social Security, how it would change benefits. I found this one interesting because I do believe this one has a chance to pass and to go on. So it'll be interesting to see, though. It'll be interesting to see if we have the government that can do what they say they can do here. It would be very interesting to see. It wouldn't fix it. It would just limit it for those that are making more or have more in their Social Security type years versus some of us that don't. If you're making money on investments, the short answer is you're probably going to see your Social Security disappear sometime in the 2035 to 2045 years. Social Security should be basically we're done. We don't have any more Social Security at that point. But an interesting article how I can extend it out. So please do read through this. With that said, any questions for me today? Any questions that I can answer for you that are that could be helpful? With that said, Packets are going out today. If you're in an LLC or a trust, you might not see your packet out to you until tomorrow sometime. But just a heads up for you. William, what are you planning on doing on Social Security? Interesting question, William. And it's coming from someone that's an Englishman. I don't plan on having Social Security around for me down the road. I hit 50 next year. I will take Social Security as quickly as I can. So I'm probably at the 62 mark, because I don't think mathematically it doesn't make sense to hold off until you're 72 and a half or 75 after you've missed all those years. I'm looking at Social Security as quickly as I can get it, which means I'm probably 12 to 15 years away, in which case watch it run out basically the year that I start. But I'm not planning on Social Security. I do not think I'll have Social Security in my future when it comes to the money for me down the road. Just not going to happen. Any other questions? Interesting one, though. All right, guys. I'm kind of this one a little bit early today. I appreciate you being here. It'll be fun to see you guys on Thursday. Packets are coming out today. If they haven't come out yet already, they will be out by tonight. Unless you are an LLC or a trust, those ones are probably not coming out till sometime tomorrow morning. Guys, have a good evening. I hope this was helpful. I hope this helped you see the market the way I do. Hope it gives you an idea of what we're looking at and why. Guys, take care. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you Thursday morning. Bye-bye.